by Moses Bliss. Beautiful, beautiful. Olua. Oh, it's a beautiful song. Actually, quite recent, just released in the past few days. And now it's time for us to have a look at the newspapers. And I see here quite a big report. Kenya strikes 680 billion shillings gold. So I see here residents of Isulu and Bushiangala in Ikolomani, Kakamega County are on the verge of a windfall. A British firm has revealed massive gold deposits in the area and is now seeking clearance to mine the precious metal in a venture that promises a fortune for the investor, country, county, and local communities. This is a story covered on page 3. Quite interesting and good news, even amid the many things that we've been hearing, but quite interesting. I see this is specifically in Ikolomani North Divisional offices. I see Isulu in Bushiangala, where processing infrastructure will be set up. So we have a map there showing how that is going to be happening. And I'm seeing here that farm projects it will need to acquire over 300 acres of land in move that will affect about 800 households. So that's something else. And I also see Shanta Gold, the mining farm, is from Guernsey in British Isles, and I also see the farm will pump 27 billion shillings into the project in Isulu and Bushiangala in Ikolomani, sites to yield 1,285,470 ounces of gold at $4,111 per ounce, which totals to 5,284 billion or 683 billion shillings. The farm also has mining projects in Siaya and Vihiga counties as well. So that is just reminding us of the wealth of our nation, and we continue to follow up on that. And we pray also that even in the mining process, people will be ensured of safety, because sometimes with mining also comes certain risks. But we pray that all will go well and that the nation will indeed benefit from that. I see here ghost learners blame ministry, not us, says teachers. So we have a situation here where teachers are throwing the blame game towards the ministry to explain ghost learners. So public primary school heads have accused the Ministry of Education of inflating enrollment figures and creating ghost students and learning institutions, a situation that has led to the loss of 4 billion shillings in funding. Quite unfortunate. During the Kenya Primary School Head Teachers Association KEPSHA conference in Mombasa, participants said it is wrong for the ministry to keep shifting blame on teachers when it has deployed officers in counties and sub-counties as well. So their complaints were made minutes after State Department for Basic Education Director General Elias Abdi said the outcome of the recent audit on public schools and learners would be released today. So we will definitely be looking out for that. Police boss in fresh role with commission over retirement age, a story covered on page 10. I see Inspector General Douglas Kanja opposed to a proposed bill that seeks to cap retirement age at 60, which is supported by the National Police Service Commission. Teacher wins 5.1 million shillings award for negligence during surgery. This is interesting. On November 12, 2016, Newton Norbert Gogo began his day like any other and aware that a single incident would alter the course of his life. A story covered on page 2. Sometimes you don't understand why certain things happen. But that injury became a way for him to, in fact, get 5.1 million shillings. Just a teacher. I mean, one can only say that God works in mysterious ways on that, but it's an interesting feature story covered on page 2. I also see here inside 558 million shillings Shah Hospital payment fraud. I see Filing Chima Hospital Limited did not exist on February 15th this year. Yet on the same day, the company filed an application seeking to be registered as a 168-bed hospital. Within 48 hours of that application, it had been allowed to offer services between May 16th and June 16th in and it also received 12.2 million shillings from the Social Health Insurance Fund as payment for patients it claimed to have treated. So, Philin Chima is now one of 45 hospitals in a multi-agency team is investigating over irregular payments from SHIF totaling to 558.7 million shillings. And of course, this is the irony that so many people are dying because they cannot access the SHAF funds. Funds that they have actually been contributing towards. So it's definitely a sad thing to see. And we need to really pray for sobriety when it comes to the Social Health Authority. I also see here we involved our children in sports and it is paying off. That's on the Daily Nation today, the DN2, and you can have a look at it. So now let us look at the Standard newspaper this morning, and I see hear no evil. So Kenya's largest employer of educators, the Teachers Service Commission, stands accused of turning the country's classrooms into cash cows for corrupt officials. I see here that the collusion of field officers to those at the headquarters reeks from job bribes and politicized recruitments to ethnic favoritism and stalled promotions. Goes ahead to tell us an EACC report paints a damning picture of rot and dysfunction inside the very body meant to safeguard teachers' welfare. As technology fails, morale plummets, and unions cry foul, the question lingers: who will teach integrity when tutors are themselves under siege? This is a story covered on page 4. And some of the issues, following that is that bribes demanded for jobs, promotions and transfers, with TSC ranked among Kenya's most graft-ridden institution. I see inefficiency and bias, portal failures, stalled promotions, and alleged ethnic and political favoritism in recruitment and advancement. Teacher frustration, poor service delivery, unfair transfers, and exploitative internship terms eroding morale and trust in the commission. And this is just following what we also saw yesterday as the topic principles from hell, which was also covered on the Standard newspaper. Now, looking at more stories, I see body of Kenyans still missing as Tanzania clergy demands reforms. I also see Alamas police officers drop guard for robbery activities. So they have been there for quite a long time now. And also there's a very sad story here. A TikToker, her name is Cecilia Achieng. It says here, popular TikToker Cecilia Achieng dies months after graduation. This is quite unfortunate, and we pray for the comfort of the family because she was really known, when it comes to the TikTok and, being very active in posting content. But this is quite a sad story. And she died, in fact, in a tragic road accident along the Thika Superhighway just months after graduating from Mount Kenya University. And we pray that indeed her soul rest in peace and that comfort goes to the family. And I see here more stories, of course, on the Daily Nation being covered. I see someone here saying, I taught you God. Betty Bayer's emotional video with daughter Sky resurfaces. This is quite interesting, and I think it's a beautiful thing as well when we see that even though she is gone, she did pass the baton to her daughter. She died at 40 because of succumbing to leukemia, blood cancer, and it was said that she died from excessive bleeding. But also there were speculations that also SHA did not really come through when it needed to. So there are so many conversations, but all in all, we must be sensitive also to the family and simply pray for their comfort. So now it's time for us to just peep at the Business Daily also, so that we can also see what is being reported, just looking at the top page here. And I see 11 reforms behind World Bank freeze of 996 billion shillings Kenya loan. I also see Techie loses 1.1 billion shillings pay in M-Pesa apps ownership role. This is quite interesting, a story that has been covered there. It says court overturns arbitrator's award to software developer. Innovator says ideas used to develop two apps. So this is a story that has been covered with regards to the M-Pesa application. I also see here AFA bans harvest trade of macadamia to protect quality. On the live pull out today, liar detected, couples take test to uncover the truth. This is interesting. I mean, we don't have to do this if at all you have developed trust among yourselves. I mean, why do you need to use these machines to detect lies? But anyway, that is being reported also. Derito Murithi here concluding with a court coding capital has exacerbated inequality, rewarding those with resources and knowledge to legalize their claims. And that's it for the newspaper review this morning. Grab a copy of your favorite, get informed, and also remember to pray for our nation, Kenya, and even beyond. So, right about now, we're going to take a short break, even as we have a look at the video of the day. We'll be back shortly.